Welcome back to another episode of Star Charts. In this episode, our focus will be the Rihlah System, located here in Shian space, with one jump point leading to Virtus, and another jump point leading to number 5, and another jump point leading into the UEE at number 2. Let's zoom in and take a look at the Rihlah System. Rihlah, a Shian word meaning source of strength, is a former military bastion located one jump beyond the Peri line. The Shian established their solar presence with singular goals, and Rihlah's initial industrial focus is no exception. With the rise of the human threat, Rihlah was converted into a major staging area for Shian military forces, and the system's 2 worlds were initially terraformed with only this purpose in mind. Massive barracks facilities, training yards, and munitions plants initially populated the system. If the Shian Empire had ever gone into all-out war with Earth, Rihlah would have been a key strategic launching point. Today, however, Rihlah is a star example of the thawing of relations between the Shian and the human empires. With the increase in trade and other relations between the powers, the ready-made invasion force has been withdrawn, and Rihlah has been formally redistricted into a original purpose as an industrial zone. The conversion and the integration of humans on the system's planets have had an interesting effect and resulted in a particularly unique place for human visitors to explore, within some very specific limits. Cosmologically, Rihlah is an A4 main sequence star with a thick green band capable of supporting a pair of large ecosystems. Jump points lead to both human and Shian worlds, although the latter are kept uncharted on all official maps. While the bulk of the fighting force has been withdrawn from Rihlah, a well-trained border defense force remains, making it an inopportune point for smugglers hoping to break into Shian space. The inner planets, 1, 2, and 3. The first 3 planets in the system are largely unremarkable. Rihlah 1 is a rocky star-swept protoplanet incapable of supporting any known form of life. Rihlah 2 is a puffy planet, an unusually close-in gas giant with a large radius but a very low density. Due to this, its proximity to the star, Rihlah 2 is not an effective refueling station. Rihlah 3 is an Earth-sized world with a rapid daily orbit. With a very thin atmosphere and a surface of dense, jagged rock, Rihlah 3 is an unlikely candidate for terraformation. Rihlah 4, Shirvu. The 4th planet in the Rihlah system, called Shirvu, was terraformed by the Shian Empire as a barracks world dotted with facilities to train and house military ground forces, as well as mid-range weapons factories capable of equipping them. With the drawdown of the last century, the military factories of Shirvu have been methodically dismantled and replaced with corporate industrial zones, the very sight of which is a fascinating process, as massive Shian-driven mechanized ants strip structures and other objects back into their component materials. Today, the conversion into an industrial world is nearly complete, although there remain scars of the former military occupation everywhere. Shian corporations have moved to Shirvu in force. Unlike most, in fact close to all, Shian worlds, humans are encouraged to visit Shirvu via a land-out in the industrial complex at Yati, a former troop training megapolis. This was a calculated decision on the part of the Shian governance. Corporations needing to interact with humans are given tax breaks to establish offices in Yati, keeping human intrusion into Shian space to an absolute minimum. The result is a corporate office park with outlets occupied by the big players, from shipbuilders like Misk, Xi'an, and Ayapoa, all the way to food processing companies and simple import-export barristers. The culture is an interesting mash. Many of these outlets hire mostly human staff, but insist on traditional Xi'an customs and methods of interaction. The industrial regions surrounding Yanti are also largely human-centric. Any Kartu-Al purchased will travel through a line near Yanti, and several Misk-overseen factories pump out Xi'an-acclimated models of the Hull D. Shirvu also buys outside goods to fuel their industrial development. Heavy metals, as well as a variety of electronics, are in demand here, and the population has been acclimated to purchasing these from human transports where necessary. Rihlah 5. Z. Called Z by the natives, Rihlah 5 is technically classified as a Xi'an habitation world, a natural super-Earth. Z is a temperate planet roughly 3.5 times the size of mankind's homeworld. Like any Xi'an's focus planet, Z's dedication to a single task has produced ultra-ordered results, unlike anything you might find orbiting a human star. Estimates suggest that between 50 and 100 billion Xi'an inhabit the stacked life spheres that form the basis for the world's dozens of massive cityscapes. The exception is Rihlah, a smaller city surrounded by dense tropical rainforests. Open to outsiders, Rihlah has become a de facto trading post where interested Xi'an can interact with human, Banu, and Tavaran shipmasters. Over the years, Rihlah has become home to a distinct community of UEE expatriates and political refugees who have begun to subtly merge their distinct human culture amidst the city's standard Xi'an hab-world architecture. UEE law enforcement has no jurisdiction in Xi'an space, and so it has become a popular place to hide in plain sight. However, note that Xi'an typically do not prosecute human-on-human crimes, making it an open port for more ruthless bounty hunters. Visitors are warned not to try to explore other regions of the planet, for both sociological and practical reasons. In the case of the former, Xi'an culture remains extremely xenophobic, and humans are absolutely not welcome in settlements beyond Rihlah. Anyone caught in another settlement will be treated as an infiltrator, and the UEE government has shown little interest in expanding clout to save the lives of wayward tourists taken in such instances. Additionally, it is generally impossible to simply walk out of Rihlah. The surrounding rainforests are impassable and are stocked with a variety of toxic plants and deadly animals, chief among them the fearsome, all-tongued Rihlah jump beast. Rihlah 6. From the surface, Rihlah 6, the system's distant dwarf worldlet, the light from Rihlah star is barely visible. This is not, of course, something the typical traveler would ever experience. Rihlah 6 is a lonely world void of atmosphere, resources, landing zones, or any interest whatsoever. It is wholly unnoteworthy, save for the persistent spacer rumor that the planet is home to a Xi'an tripwire, capable of autonomously placing the Empire on a war footing. The claim, wholly unsubstantiated, goes that the technology is left over from Rihlah's days as the fortified border system, and that the technology remains active, buried in Rihlah 6's core to this day. No rumor clearly identifies what the tripwire is, which claims ranging from the central computer that controls a massive space network of scanners to some sort of doomsday device capable of destroying the planet and anyone caught investigating it. And from another source, Rihlah. Ownership, Xi'an. Planets, 6. Planetary rotations, 615 standard Earth days for Shirvu. 831 standard Earth days for Rihlah 6. Import: electronics, heavy metals, industrial machinery. Export: outsource weapons. Crime status: low. Black market: weapons surplus. UEE strategic value: purple. Rihlah, a Shi'an word meaning source of strength, is the first system past the Perry line. Rihlah was originally a major staging area for Shi'an military forces and was processed as a military zone. All of the planets and the resources in the system have been converted to a martial nature, helping to build and maintain the defensive capabilities of the system. The Shi'an have ramped down their buildup in the region, leaving the system in the middle of an identity crisis. Redesignated for industrial and trade purpose, Rihlah has shuttered the invasion countermeasure systems for now. One result of the change is that the strong military presence is now used to handle border and system security, making it an inopportune point for smugglers to try to break into the Shi'an space. The system is home to 2 Shi'an inhabited worlds, Shirvu and Z. Standard Shi'an interaction and trade warnings apply to all settlements on both. And this was the Rihlah System. Come back and view our other star charts, and we'll see you in the verse.